ThinkTech on OC16, Hawaii's weekly newscast on things that matter to tech and to Hawaii. I'm Jay Fidell.
And I'm Donna Blanchard.
In our show this time, we'll cover the 2015 Triennial International Astronomical Union Conference at the Hawaii Convention Center.
We'll attend some of the public talks, the scientific symposia and focus meetings, and we'll talk to some of the astronomers there.
We went to the convention center to see what was going on last week. We found more than 2,500 astronomers from 75 countries there, lots of exhibitors and thousands of people interested in astronomy.
Astronomy has come a long way since Galileo, and advances in optics, electronics, and tech in general have taken it a lot further over the last few years. Hawaii's high mountains and good weather has made it one of the world's leading places for astronomical research.
Whether you realize it or not, people in Hawaii are very interested in astronomy. Every year, Astronomy Day at IFA, that is the UH Institute for Astronomy, attracts huge numbers of people who want to know more about astronomy.
ThinkTech loves to go to Astronomy Day at IFA, meet the astronomers and visitors, and learn about astronomy. So we were thrilled to find that the 2015 Triennial AIU Global Astronomical Conference was set to take place here, and we could get in to see what was going on.
We walked around the exhibition hall at the convention center to take a look at the various exhibits, projects, and displays. What's your specialty in astronomy?
I observe binary stars in the optical, and I do that work at the observatory in Canada.
U.S. Naval Observatory.
That's right.
Isn't that where the Vice President lives?
The Vice President's there on the grounds with us.
And now you're sitting here with Elizabeth, and you have books and papers out, and you're comparing notes with her on some scientific issue.
That's exactly right. We're collaborating on several different systems, and we're discussing them today and planning other observing trips and planning other publications in the future.
Well, I'm British, and I grew up and I did my undergraduate work in Leeds in the UK. I did my PhD in Stockholm, and I've been in Geneva Observatory in Switzerland and in Toulouse in France, and now I'm back in Stockholm again.
Sounds like a really international career.
What you have to do. I mean, in some countries it's almost mandatory that you go around and move about and go to various places and build a network.
They say that in every astronomer there's a kid looking at the sky. Is this true?
Of course. Yes. Although I must admit that I'm looking at the sky at times, but I've been involved in radio astronomy, so you can't see that. And currently I'm working in X-ray astronomy. You can't see that either. You need telescopes for that.
So you came to the conference from Islamabad?
From Islamabad, yeah.
Are you an astronomer?
I am an astronomer, yeah.
What do you specialize in?
I have a specialty on supermassive black holes and galaxy mergers, gravitational waves.
Where did you study?
I studied in Germany, in Heidelberg.
IST stands for the
Institute of Space Technology in Islamabad.
Wonderful. And why are you here in Hawaii?
I'm participating as an I have an oral presentation here tomorrow about galaxy mergers and binary black holes and prospects of detection of gravitational waves. And I'm here to interact with the community because this is the biggest meeting we have.
Good morning, everybody. My name is Maria Messineo, and I work currently in Germany at the Max Planck Institute for Radioastronomy, but I'm 100% Italian. This conference is a general IAU assembly. It's held every 4 years, and this is a beautiful party for astronomy. Every astronomer from every part of the world comes here. We have a summary of every single discovery has been done in 4 year times. Thank you for actually help the astronomers to organize it here. Thank you for that attention that the press gives to us.
Thank you.
We need the support of everybody. We need the support of the population to make discovery.
So what would you say to
And
the
we
public?
hope that this brings love and peace to everyone on Earth.
Oh, wow. Wow. What would you say to the people? What would you leave them, your message to the people?
Well, try to work hard, try to save the planet Earth, and look at the stars.
What's it like at Padua? That's a really old school.
Oh yes, the old university is one of the oldest in the world. It's the third university in the world. Okay.
And it has a long history on astronomy.
Of course, I mean, we had Galileo working in Padua for a long time. And as he said, he spent the best time in his life in Padua. And we have a lot of things coming from Galileo and a lot of history, I mean, because of Galileo. Okay, so astronomy is really very strong in Padua.
How important is Hawaii in the global development of astronomy?
Well, Hawaii is, I'd say, among the two best places in the world to put observatory, I mean, to observe the sky. Particularly Mauna Kea, I mean, there is a wonderful sky, and as I said, it's one of the best. Hawaii is extremely important for astronomy.
I do research at the Australian National University in Canberra, Australia. There are 2,000 astronomers here from many different countries, and one of the great things about it is that we all speak the same language.
This General Assembly decided to come to Hawaii 6 years ago, and then I am not participated in that decision. However, I'm very pleased that IAU came to Hawaii, because the Hawaii is one of the places the IAU General Assembly should come, and we came here because of the spectacular contribution of the Hawaii, especially on the Mauna Kea, for the world astronomy. So that's why we are here.
I'm working on two things right now. The Cassini mission, which is a spacecraft in orbit around Saturn. It is designed to give a very detailed view of not only the planet Saturn and its rings, but the moons, which is what I'm interested in. It has a whole lot of interesting moons. And I'm also working on the New Horizons mission, which is a mission to Pluto. I was part of the science team. I am part of the science team, and that was very, very exciting.
Yeah, I'm a publisher coming from France. All the former of EDP Sciences are famous names as Marie Curie, Paul Langevin. They are the owners of this company.
The difference between us and the Keck observatories are mere size. We're 3.6 meter, they're 10 meter. Our camera, though, is significantly larger, 350 megapixels.
We don't take as nice pictures as Ken and Francois, but we take the best spectra in the world. We use CCDs for the optical, like the wavelengths you can see with your eye, and we use other types of detectors for the infrared, so we can see in the heat wavelengths as well.
I'm from the Space Telescope Science Institute, which is the institute that manages and operates the Hubble Space Telescope and will soon operate the James Webb Space Telescope. I'm the project scientist for this telescope, the James Webb Space Telescope, and so I'm here giving a number of talks about the James Webb Space Telescope, including some at this, there's a picture of it right there, in fact, including some at this beautiful hyperwall back here where we can showcase scenes of the telescope and the science of the telescope in a large format. I'm also giving some research talks on my own science and presenting that at the conference, and I'm talking to astronomers, getting people engaged with some of our programs.
Talking about, what's this little meeting about?
It's been about talking about writing a book about the history of one of the major projects, the Square Kilometre Array, which has got a stand at the back there with that inflatable antenna. And all the three of us have been very much involved in developing the project. So we've been asked if we'd like to think about writing a book.
It's a project that's still ongoing, and the question is where to terminate the book. Whether to terminate it now, or what happened up to a couple of years ago when the project evolved, or whether to wait till the actual construction starts.
And the reason we're here discussing this at the IAU is because we have, I'm living in Australia, Ken is living in the US, and Richard is living in the UK. And this SKA is an international project. In fact, probably we'll start the book with the famous quote, born global.
You're from Germany?
I'm from Germany, yes, but I live in California and work for the Stratospheric Observatory for Infrared Astronomy, SOFIA. Personally, I like the big plenary sessions, which gave a big overview over the field. So I think but the IAU, in principle for me, is meeting the people. It's not so much reading all the posters, because there's too many anyway, but it's so many old friends and young people that is nice to meet.
So you're in a specialty in astronomy. What is it?
Star formation. Formation of stars and maybe some planets.
You come here, you speak, you meet people.
Yes.
Have you learned things you didn't know before?
Yes. There was a talk by Bruce Elmergreen, who talked about the explosion in the galactic center about 2 million years ago, which I had heard of, but I wasn't fully aware of the details, and it was a fantastic talk. I thought it was the best talk so far I heard.
We also stopped at some of the symposia and focus meetings presented in the conference and tried to learn as much as we could. It was great to see the astronomers discussing their science.
We arranged 1 year ago. Now we have started a global map of the Earth that is not finished, but this is the first time that is publicly released.
That evening, we attended what they called an invited discourse, featuring Lisa Kaltenegger from Cornell University on exoplanets, thousands of worlds to explore.
There is such a diversity of life out there. In extreme environments on the Earth, not the dominant life from here, but it could be the dominant life from on other planets. But it is on the border of what we can do, and we, for the first time in human history, have a step of asking not only what the evolution of a habitable planet is like when we find many, many Earths out there that have different ages, but also how common life is in this universe. Thank you very much.
The event started with public voting for the Name ExoWorld contest to select the names for some recently discovered exoplanets.
And this is our message from the International Space Station.
Greetings from the International Space Station. I'm NASA astronaut Scott Kelly, flying 250 miles above Earth. Welcome to the 29th International Astronomical Union General Assembly, one of the largest gatherings ever and the first in the United States in 30 years. I hear there is an out-of-this-world contest going on, the Name ExoWorlds contest, organized by IAU and Zooniverse. This contest will help to decide the new names of 32 exoplanets and their host stars. Have you voted yet for your favorite names? If not, go to www.nameexoworlds.org to find out how.
Vote now. Okay, you will see the 20 systems list on this page.
There were two guest speakers there. Gunther Hassinger, director of the IFA, who spoke about the development of astronomy in Hawaii, and Andrea Ghez of UCLA, who spoke about the black hole in the galactic center.
I have shown you the growth of astronomy on the mountain over the last 40 years, with now 13 telescopes going up there. Almost simultaneously, basically the native Hawaiian self-esteem and the resurgence of native Hawaiian culture has developed. I mean, in the 70s, the Hokulea was built. Kaho'olawe was actually one of the big protest sites. And so the Hawaiian understanding of their own nation has grown more or less simultaneously with the growth of astronomy. And today, these two things are at a colliding tangential or trajectory. And so it's clear that the future of Mauna Kea astronomy is inextricably linked to Hawaiian culture, and we have to find a way to actually coexist and also fruitfully work together. And I would like to use this analogon, and this is actually a slide I have borrowed from Doug Simons, who is one of the pioneers in really trying to find a compromise and a common ground. So we have these three elements: science, culture, and environment. And this is something like a three-legged stool. And you know that in principle, a three-legged stool is quite stable. If you stand on three legs, you don't fall down and you don't tip. And so science, culture, and environment have to find a way to be together, to work together. And this is actually, from my point of view, has been achieved already in the past through the Mauna Kea Office of Mauna Kea Management and the Mauna Kea Comprehensive Management Plan. And so, in principle, we are all stewards of the sacred mountains. The astronomers feel responsible for the mountain the same way as many of the native Hawaiians. And so I think we need to find a common ground. And so I would like to, in particular, thank Doug Simons for his pioneering activities in this direction, and also Paul Coleman, our native Hawaiian astronomer. And this is actually a picture which has been taken a few weeks ago between myself, Paul, and one of the protesters with the Aloha Aina sign. I feel the Aloha Aina myself, and I think we will find some way. And with this, I would like to mahalo. This is the peak Poliahu, where the telescope, the first telescope was, which is cleared now again. We will also take down some other telescopes and hopefully find common ground. Thank you very much.
We are not on U.S. soil. You folks can look it up international. It's a war crime. 99% of the islands do not want TMT. 10% were for. Ask them at their meetings. We are not going to back down.
Can you televise this lecture to the general public of Hawaii? This is an excellent lecture to be televised to everyone in this state.
Our next speaker is Dr. Andrea Ghez.
It's a pleasure to be here this evening to share the work that we've been doing on the top of Mauna Kea for the last 20 years. So I'm going to start with a question, which is, how do you observe something you can't see? And this is an essential question if you want to find and study black holes, because these are objects that have such strong gravity that nothing can escape them, not even light.
So, what would you say to the people of Hawaii about this conference? What would you say it shows that they ought to know about?
Well, I think it shows that astronomers are humans like all the rest of us, and astronomers know how to get along with people from all over the world. And we had astronomers coming to this meeting from all over and going out into schools and school kids interacting with them. We're here not just to learn, but to share what we've learned as well.
So the fact that we have the world's largest group of astronomers here, it's about 1/3 of all astronomers in the world are here, is I think is basically a sign for how important Hawaii is for astronomy. And the reason why Hawaii is so important for astronomy ultimately relates to the mountains. And it's actually ultimately also the shape, the geology of the mountains, the fact that Mauna Kea and Haleakala are both these flat shield volcanoes, that the air is flowing over those mountains in a very laminar fashion, and that the stars are not twinkling up on those mountains. And that brought ultimately all the astronomers here. And now we are, in a sense, I mean, kind of continuing the story that the Polynesian voyagers started, where they went out to where nobody else went. They found land. Already the Apollo program, you know, Mauna Kea was used to chart the moon, I mean, a map of the moon in order to find landing sites for the Apollo astronauts. That was already a step in that same direction. Now we are looking for outside worlds and for planets where maybe in 500 years our descendants will fly there. So it's all one big voyaging story.
It's great to visit a huge scientific conference like this right here in Honolulu. This is exactly what we need. A conference like this shows how global astronomy has become and how important it is to humankind and our state.
The study of astronomy helps us understand the universe beyond our daily lives and makes us think about the origins of the universe and of life itself. Astronomy has invited human curiosity from the dawn of civilization, and it has taught us about ourselves and our world.
Any study of astronomy must refer to the astronomical resources and facilities at Mauna Kea. The telescopes that are there, the scientists and staff that research there, and the incredible discoveries that have been made there.
At its core, the opposition to TMT seems to be an undifferentiated resistance to outside influences, including scientists and science. But Hawaii, as an island state that absolutely requires offshore investment to move ahead, cannot afford to do that.
The 30-meter telescope, TMT, which has of late been so controversial, is supposed to be built near the Keck telescopes. But how do we feel about TMT? Does culture trump the rule of law?
It's not that the state has no other challenges. There are many environmental and cultural issues, as we have found in rail and in the development of Kaka'ako, that are far more important to our future.
The TMT protesters have expanded their protest to Haleakala and are protesting the Astronomical Union conference itself. But what do they seek? The end of TMT and the $2 billion it will bring into the state? The end of astronomy in Hawaii? The end of science? The end of progress? And now let's take a look at our ThinkTech calendar of events going forward.
ThinkTech broadcasts its talk shows live on the internet from noon to 5 p.m. on weekday afternoons, and then we broadcast our earlier shows all night long. If you missed a show or you want to replay or share any show, they're all archived on demand on YouTube.
Visit thinktechhawaii.com for our weekly calendar and our live stream and YouTube links, or better yet, to sign up for our email list and get the daily docket of our upcoming shows.
ThinkTech has a great new studio at Pioneer Plaza. We invite you to come down, see our studio, be part of our live audience. Contact me, Jay, at thinktechhawaii.com. Be a part of our civic engagement on ThinkTech.
Go ahead, give us a thumbs up on YouTube or send us a tweet at ThinkTechHI. We want to know what you're thinking and how you feel about current issues and events affecting Hawaii. We want you to stay in touch with us, and we want to stay in touch with you. Let's think together.
On Thursday, September 17th, ThinkTech will join with the Anthology Marketing Group to present a program called Whither Thou Goest, Waikiki, Engine of Our State's Economy, at the Anthology Theater in Bishop Square.
The program will cover the status and prospects of the hospitality industry in Hawaii and will feature business, government, and academic experts on tourism in Hawaii.
Join us and raise your awareness about the critical changes taking place in Hawaii. Be a part of the conversation and sign up to attend on thinktechhawaii.com. And now, here's this week's ThinkTech commentary.
I'm Donna Blanchard, and this is a ThinkTech commentary. I'd like to talk about President Obama's battle to move the Iran nuclear accord forward in the face of the American-Israel Public Affairs Committee spending millions of dollars on advertising to try to defeat it. I'd like to talk about the anger, folly, and chutzpah behind North Korea's invention of their own time zone, Pyongyang time, which will set them 30 minutes behind their current time zone, which was imposed by Japan. I'd like to talk about the dozens of Christians who are missing after their town in central Syria was attacked by ISIL jihadists. I would like to talk about these important stories, but I can't seem to do it because one giant news story keeps invading my mind, my news feed, my television, and my Twitter and Facebook feeds. Donald Trump is leading the Republican polls. A typhoon killed 6 people in Taiwan and left millions without power. Millions. A journalist known for crusading against political corruption in Brazil was murdered while he was on the air delivering his radio program in Rio de Janeiro. The European Union is trying to humanely and safely deal with hundreds of thousands of refugees from places like Libya, Syria, and Rohingya who would rather live their lives walking across a desert or getting on a boat run by shady, self-serving human traffickers, going anywhere rather than staying where they're persecuted, threatened, and straight up unsafe at home. We should all be talking about those things instead of the leading GOP candidate who didn't care for the questions he was asked by Megyn Kelly at the Republican presidential debate, so he publicly suggested that she must have been menstruating at the time. How can I possibly talk about anything else when that's the case? I'm not concerned that Mr. Trump is actually going to win, and frankly, I bet he isn't either. What concerns me is the giant stick-in-the-eye message his current popularity is sending. That message that a large portion of our society are so flummoxed by politics in general that they would rather hear blowhard rhetoric from a man who appears to be an unapologetic misogynist bigot than an actual plan to deal with Iran or our budget. I agree that Mr. Trump is more entertaining than a spreadsheet or a joint plan of action filled with details about uranium enrichment. But we've got to bite the bullet here and step up to reality. If you do your homework and still don't like the candidates presented to you, be willing to back a third or fourth or fifth party candidate. You've made some really good points that I hope no one forgets anytime soon. I hope all of the candidates take note, drop the rhetoric, and deliver real, detailed, thoughtful solutions. Stop trying to please everyone and tell us how you want to run the country for realsies. And I hope the American public won't stop grousing and scrapping until we do have candidates worthy of this kind of attention. And I hope we don't forget to seriously consider what's going on in Yemen and how little we are removed from the unimaginable hardships faced by people not terribly unlike us. I'm Donna Blanchard, and this has been a ThinkTech commentary. We'll be right back to wrap up this week's edition of ThinkTech, but first we want to thank our underwriters.
Okay, Donna, that wraps up this week's edition of ThinkTech. Remember, you can watch ThinkTech on OC16 several times every week. Can't get enough of it, just like Donna does. For additional times, check out OC16.tv.
For lots more ThinkTech videos and for underwriting opportunities on ThinkTech on OC16, visit thinktechhawaii.com. Be a guest or volunteer, a producer or intern, and help us reach and have an impact on Hawaii.
Thanks so much for being part of our ThinkTech family and for supporting our open discussion of tech, energy, diversification, and globalism in Hawaii. You can watch this show throughout the week and tune in next Sunday evening for our next important weekly episode. I'm Jay Fidell.
I'm Donna Blanchard, and I'll see you on Wednesdays, 2 to 3 p.m. on Center Stage. Aloha, everyone.